Do you struggle with door-to-door sales or B2B sales, cold calling, and you cannot, for whatever reason, get quality leads, get people on the phone, get people to text you back, get people to engage, anything like that? Well, if that's the case, this video is for you. By the end of this video, you're going to know everything that you need to know in order to get someone on a call to the door, and then also get to the inspection, get to the sales call, get everything in order so that way you're able to close them and make more money. If you don't know who I am, my name's Steven. I make this channel for business owners, like-minded individuals, entrepreneurs, whatever, to grow their brands, grow themselves, become better people, and to do better things with their life. So that is why I make this channel. And I'm going to give you my story. So for the last 2 years, I've been in business, and I'd say for the last 6 months, I've really struggled with lead quality and lead generation, and I just couldn't figure it out for whatever reason. I'd go 1 week, I'd go and I'd book 8 appointments, and then or one day I'd go and book 8 appointments, and then after that day, the next day, the 8 appointments, one of them would show up and he was completely broke, and so we couldn't do any work for him. And then the next day, I would book 2 appointments, and then both of them would show up, and I could never figure out why. For whatever reason, I wasn't able to get people on calls, show up, and get leads to come in consistently. And it wasn't until recently, when I started applying some of these tips I'm going to talk about in this video, that I was able to close more deals, get more people on the phone, that sort of thing. So I actually have 15 tactical ways that you can get people to buy your service, get people on the call, get people to make contact with you. And if you like this stuff, go ahead and subscribe, because I make videos like this all the time. First thing we're going to talk about is initial contact. All right. Now, it's very important to understand when I'm talking about initial contact, I'm talking about when you get to the lead, right? You find the lead, you go talk to them, and it's a cold approach. This is all cold approach. This has nothing to do with Facebook advertising or website stuff and that kind of thing, right? This is all cold approach. So when you go knock on the door, when you call the business, whatever the case is, right? So your initial contact, the first thing I really want to make sure that you understand here is to put aside your ego, right? This is very important, okay? And I've made this mistake so many times. This is like kind of the less tactical part, but I will say that this is one of the most important things that you can do, and that is to put aside your ego, right? So I have had a big problem in my past to where I didn't want to get rejected. I didn't want to get told no. I didn't want to lose a potential possibility to talk to a prospect. And so what I would do is I would sit there and basically badger someone on a cold call or like a door-to-door knocking, whatever. I'd badger someone on a cold call for them to hop on a phone with me, right? And so what ended up happening was I'd book 10 appointments, but no one would show up. This is a very important thing I want you to understand. I'm going to get more into this as we go on in the video, especially with this part, right? So here's your funnel. Okay, well, I'm going to draw it again. So here are 2 funnels. Can you see this stuff? All right, here are my 2 funnels. Now, here's funnel A, and here's funnel B. All right, these are 2 separate funnels. They're not linked together at all. Yeah. So funnel A, the way that I was doing things, this is my before. The way I would do things is I would get people to look at my sales funnel, right? This is like the sales process from initial contact all the way to the sale. I would get people to look at my sale, and I'd pull them in. I'd force them into the funnel, and then they would just hop out somewhere, right? They would lose interest and hop out, right? The way I have my funnel set up now is that they come in and they're invited in. I invite them in. I'm going to talk more about that in this video. And then they bounce off the walls and come down here to the actual sale. This is when you close the sale. So like right here at the bottom is when you make the money. They bounce off the walls and actually close the sale. Okay. And this was a mistake that I was making where I would just bring people into my funnel. I would force them to come into my funnel because I had a big ego. And then they would just leave somewhere. And I was like, why are these guys not buying? Why are they not showing up to my sales calls? It's because I was basically just throwing them into a basket with holes in it. If you have a basket with a bunch of holes in it and you throw a piece of paper in it, like the paper's just going to come out of it, right? Eventually. Or if you try to fill a bucket of water and it has holes in it, that's the problem. And so what we're doing here is we're fixing these holes inside of your funnel. And that's what this is all about. So put aside your ego. That's one thing that, like, I'm forcing people into the sales funnel and they're coming out. If you put your ego aside and you actually approach the situation from, how can I really help this person? And is this person seriously interested in my thing? Then you're more likely to get them to come to the call, to show up to the inspection, or to let you in when you go to give the inspection and actually close the sale. Now, the second one I want to talk about here is to value your time. Again, this isn't tactical either. The rest of them are, but I want to make this very clear, and this is why I talk about these first. Value your time. Okay, so I know you can tell when you're talking to a prospect and they're not going to buy. It's very clear when you're talking to a prospect and they're kind of being a little shruggish. Maybe if it's door to door, you can look at body language, right? If they're sitting like this, or if they have the door half open while they're talking to you, like, they're probably not interested. Okay. And I'll give you a great example from my life. Like yesterday, actually, I had these guys show up to my door and I thought they were friends, but they were just random people and they were trying to get me to join their church, which happened to be a Mormon church. And I don't think there might not be anything wrong with that, but that's just not what I believe in. And so they came to my door and they started talking to me. And then on top of that, they said, hey man, well, it seems like you're busy. That's okay. We can come by. We'll be in the neighborhood tomorrow. Can we come by for like 15 minutes and have a sit down conversation? I said, sure. Cause I just wanted them to get off my porch. And they said, what time would you be available? Does morning or afternoon work better? And that's a very big sales technique to get people to, pick an option, yes or no, or not yes or no, but this or that. And I said, look, man, I honestly couldn't tell you because I understand it. But sometimes if you go to somebody and you say, hey, are you available for an inspection today or tomorrow or in the morning or the afternoon? They'll just say, yeah, come by in the morning, come by in the morning. And they're not really interested. Okay. And that's kind of how you can realize like you're wasting your time. So don't show up to that house the next day when that person's not going to open the door and just ghost you. Right. So value your time. And my pro tip with that is that if someone seems like they're not interested right now, or you go to ask for the appointment and they say, hey, honestly, man, I'm a little busy this week. Maybe we can talk sometime next week, right? Instead of writing it down somewhere in your CRM to give them a call in a week or whatever the case is, just say, completely understand, John. Try to get them to, if you can say, hey, John, I'm going to be honest, it seems like a priority to you. If you're seriously interested in getting this done, then let's book a call for tomorrow. Now, if they still can't do it, even if you try to work around their schedule, like I understand maybe you're going to be working, but I can come by at 7 or 8 o'clock. I work kind of late, so if that works for you, or even in the morning I can come by, or whatever the case is. If they still say no and they keep saying, let's go to next week, let's go to Friday, let's skip 5 days ahead, right? That's when you would just say, you know what, John, I completely understand, man. Or if they say, hey, just give me a call or just come by, we'll figure it out, right? And you know they're not trying to get on a sales call, they're just telling you to fuck off. At that moment, I'd say, look, John, give me a call. Here's my number. You can give me a call back. I'm a very busy person. I have a lot going on, and I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want you to waste mine. So here is my card. You can give me a call back at this number, and I would love to speak with you after that. You set expectations, and you let them know you value your time. That you're not just some piece of shit person who's begging for business, right? You will operate out of abundance. If you're operating out of scarcity, then no one's going to buy from you. So you operate out of abundance. Hey, man, yeah, like I completely understand. I got plenty of other jobs right now. You don't say it like this, but this is kind of the message you give off is like, I got other jobs. I got other things going on. I'm a busy person, If you're still interested, you can call me at this number. And that's what you want to do. That's my pro tip there. So pick proper areas is number 3. So I'm just going to write areas. So when you're doing B2B sales, you need to find the business owner. So B2B, the owner's number and the name, right? So if you have the owner's number, like if you call and there's a receptionist, gatekeeper, whatever, and you say, can I speak to John? And they're like, oh yeah, I'll patch you through, right? You want to find the owner's name, okay? And I'm not going to tell you how to do that. I'm gatekeeping hardcore in this video. But door to door, you want to find places who have problems, right? That's what you want to look for is problems, right? So if you're a roofer, track hail and find people who have hail damage in their neighborhood, and preferably who have bigger houses, bigger neighborhoods, bigger square foot, that kind of thing, so you can actually close better jobs. B2B, you look for the owners. D2D, you look for problems. Find the problems and then solve them. Okay, it's very important to understand. You want to find the proper areas to look for people, right? So you want to find qualified prospects. And so there's a difference. There's cold leads. We're reaching out to cold leads. Warm leads are people who have spoken to you. Maybe you know them. You've known them for a while, distant relatives. Engaged leads are people who engage with you the entire time. So they're completely engaged. You send them text afterwards. They want to keep working with you, all that stuff. And then qualified leads are people who have the resources necessary in order to do the service, right? So they have insurance, they have capital, they have used the service in the past, which that's another pro tip I'm going to get to in the next very soon. So the next one, this is very important too, is ask permission. I think a lot of people think this is, I don't know, I thought this was stupid for a long time. I thought this was very like beta, to be like, hey man, please let me work for you. Please, like, I really want to do business with you and that kind of stuff. But you don't really come off that way, right? So when I hop on a cold call, I say, hey, John, I'm going to be honest with you, man, this is a cold call. Would you like to hang up or give me 30 seconds? And a lot of times they'll laugh and they'll be like, hey, I think that's funny. I'll give you 30 seconds. I actually had someone a couple of days ago hang up on me and then call me back like 2 hours later and say, I told my business partner what happened. And he said he liked the way that you came off like that. So we just wanted to give you a call back and see how everything's going, right? Ask for permission. Again, this is going back to the funnel I was talking about here. In this funnel, and this is how me and most people have always done their funnels, and this is why you're not closing sales, is that you force people into your funnel, right? You give them the pitch. You give them the pitch without asking any permission. If you ask them to come into the funnel, this is the point of asking, right? This is where you're asking right here, right? I'm going to draw a little thing so you understand. This is where you're asking. So you bring them towards the funnel and you say, hey, John, can I pitch you? Right? And they're more likely to listen to you. So if you show up to someone's door and you just start being kind of shady and you're like, oh, well, I can give you a free roof inspection, they don't give a fuck, right? But if you can show up and you can say, hey, John, this is, my name's Steven. I was in the neighborhood and I noticed that you had I thought maybe you might have some roof damage, right? And so I was wondering if you'd be okay with me giving you an inspection real quick, or if you'd be interested in talking a little bit about it, right? And that way they're open to it. You might have more people say no, but you didn't drag someone into your funnel. Right. And so that's the biggest mistake that I've been making the entire time, is that I wouldn't put aside my ego. So when someone say I'm not interested, I'd be like, well, what are you not interested in? They're like, this, and this. I'm like, but what if I told you this? And I force them to sign up for the call. And what happens is you're not valuing your time. You're not asking for permission. They don't know what's going on. They leave the call and they're like, what the fuck just happened? Right. Because they don't know who you are. and you just called them and then forced them to say yes, yes, yes because they didn't want to be a dick. They give you the email, they give you the phone number, they give you a time, and then you show up at that time and they don't answer the door, or you hop on the Zoom call at that time, and you look stupid staring at yourself for 15 minutes waiting for this person to show up. So it's very important to ask for permission. That has helped me out a lot, right? The next question, this is very important. Ask qualifying questions. I said the next question. The next number. Ask qualifying questions. Qualifying. I'm going to write that too. That way you understand. You want to ask qualifying questions to the prospect when you talk to them the first time. What you don't want to do is just say, when they say, oh yeah, I'm interested, then you're like, okay, that's cool, I'll be back tomorrow, right? You want to make sure this person's qualified. I like to make sure, again, that they have revenue, that they have, the expenses to do this thing, and that they've done the research and they know what this is about, right? Someone that's really particular on their insurance, someone who, has the capital to invest. Like in my situation, I always like to recommend to people that they should spend serious dollars on advertising, right? And so if they don't have the money to spend on advertising, then I'm not going to sit here and try to hold a sales call. And so what I do, and this is a pro tip, pro tip number 2. What I do, what you should do, is just disqualify people and say, look, man, honestly, like, I don't really think this is going to work out. I think this wouldn't be a good fit. You might not be financially able to do it, or whatever the case is. Maybe we can reach back out in a couple months. And in one way, if you're actually scared of that happening, if you're scared to tell someone that they're not qualified for your service because you think it'll hurt their feelings, just tell them the price of the service because they're not going to buy, right? And maybe they do buy, who knows? But right then and there, if you find out, you just say, yeah, this is actually going to cost like 20 grand. So can you do that? No. And then you move on, right? That's the best way I've found to handling that. My other pro tip with this one as well, is to ask if they've used services similar in the past. So if you're doing B2B and say you're doing consulting or marketing or whatever the case is, and you call this company and you find out that this company has used services similar to yours in the past, then those people are more likely to buy. They've already bought into the service before, so they're going to buy again, right? There's a better chance they'll buy again because they understand it. I swear it's been a lot harder for me to try and close deals with someone who's never done marketing before than with someone who's very experienced in marketing and they just don't want to spend the time on it. Same thing goes for door-to-door, right? If you go to a house and they've clearly had a lot of work done to the house, remodeling, you ask them those questions. Hey, do you do any remodeling work? Have you gotten a roof repair before? Have you done these services before? And they say yes, then they're more likely to spend the money on that because they understand the value. Right? You don't have to explain the value to the person. They already know the value, right? All you have to do is deliver the service. That's a very big one that actually changed a lot for me. Now, sometimes if someone doesn't do marketing, I most times won't even speak to them. The next one. I said question again. Ask for one time, not two. This is very important to understand. All right. One time. Are you available tomorrow at 4 p.m.? Right? One time. If you ask for two, they're just going to give you one of the, like, you're giving them an option to not say yes or no, right? We talked about this. This is like a big sales tactic where people will say, are you available in the morning or the afternoon tomorrow? Fuck that. Okay. Because all you're doing is you're just saying, oh yeah, afternoon, this time. You're leading them into your funnel without, like, you need to have stopping points. You see how like they bounce off? These are all stopping points here in this funnel. Okay. Because this next little stopping point is, are you free at this time tomorrow? And then the only answer is yes or no. You need to have yes or no questions throughout your funnel. And so that way they say yes 7 times before they buy. But if all they say is morning, 9 o'clock, tomorrow, yes, I'm free, I'll see you then. Like, they're not going to, but if yes, you know that they're more interested, right? So ask for one time. You free tomorrow at 4? I'm not free at that time. Okay. Are you free at this time? Right. And that way you can also get them to give you a time that they're free and kind of work around your schedule, right? You make it look like you're less available. I have one opening tomorrow at 4, rather than, oh, do you have morning or afternoon, whatever time, I'm free all the time, right? If you look free, if you look not busy, they think you're probably crap. That's very important to understand too. So here's a big one: book same day or the next day, but same day appointments, man, the show rate on that is insane. Seriously, I think like out of my same day appointments, I've probably missed like 2 of them, and they were stupid appointments that I ego booked. That's what I call. Actually, I'm gonna coin that term. Ego booking is when you go and you just force someone to book an appointment because you have a big ego. That's what that is. Ego booking. Book the same day, right? Book the same day. John, I have an opening this afternoon. It would just be a 15-minute call. Are you available? Right? I'm gonna be in the neighborhood later. I can stop by. Are you available around 3 o'clock? And are you available in 2 hours for me to come over? Right? That way they remember they're still on it. When you go to sleep and then they wake up the next day and they completely forget, and the next day stuff happens, and then they're like, oh shit, I have this appointment, I completely forgot about it. They're not going to show up. Okay. Booking same day appointments is better. And if not, book it just for the next day. Do not book more than 2 days out. I usually book, like today's Tuesday. I've booked appointments for today and for tomorrow. If someone said Thursday or Friday, I say, look, here's my phone number. You can give me a call on Thursday or Friday and we can figure it out. just like I was talking about up here, where I was talking about it somewhere. Value your time, right? Yeah, I'm free next week. Here's my phone number. You can call me next week if you're still interested, right? So book the same day. Very, very big one. And you know what? Hold on, let me look at the time here. I'm going to make this 2 videos. I'm going to make this 2 videos. I know I said I'd make it 1, but this is just going to be the initial contact because we're getting kind of long into the video. We got 2 more, and you want to confirm the appointment time before you go. So make sure you confirm the time. Last couple of seconds. A lot of people will only remember the last couple things you said. So if you call them, and right at the end of the call, you say, hey man, it was nice meeting with you. I'm very excited to talk tomorrow about the thing that I do at this time. The last thing, they remember the last 30 seconds of your conversation. So they remember, my name's Steven. I'm excited to talk to you tomorrow about our marketing services at 3 o'clock. So they remember those 3 things. Tomorrow, 3 o'clock, marketing, Steven. They remember all those. That's what they remember. If you wait until the end of the call and you start shooting the shit and whatever, right, you're wasting your time. Okay? And actually, that's a little side note, and because I'm going to shorten this video and make a second half to this, value your time. So if someone's shooting the shit with you, which happens a lot on cold calls and door-to-door sales, my best advice is to say, hey, man, I got another call coming in. I got to go. If something changes, always give me a call. Try to get an out on that. If you're not talking about the sale, if you're not talking about business with the person and they're just shooting the shit with you or giving you excuses as to why they can't use the service, then stop talking to them, right? Those are people that I don't think will ever buy. And that's another thing too, is excuses. If someone's constantly giving you excuses for why they can't buy, you're not going to be able to change their behavior, right? If they have a victim mentality, they have a victim mentality. And I've been through this multiple times, and maybe I'm incorrect. Maybe there's a way you can fix that. But I think the only way to fix a victim mentality is through yourself, for them to fix it. And they're not going to fix it by spending 10 grand on your roof. They're going to have to fix it by doing some internal digging. And so that's the thing is I would really, if someone's giving you excuses as to why they can, over and over, not objections, but excuses, right? The world sucks, people sucks, the government, everything, stop talking to them, man. They were never going to buy in the first place. And maybe that's just my opinion, but yeah. All right. The last one, number 9. And I have 6 more about the sales call, like before calling on the sales call, but I'm going to make a part 2 because this video is getting kind of long and I got other shit to do, so I don't really have time for all this. But if you like this, subscribe, like the video, and I'll drop part 2, within the next couple of days. Give them a show reason, right? Give them a reason to show. Very, very important here that I want you to understand is, and I've said this before, and maybe this is kind of a fallacy, but things happen, I change my mind. I used to say to give people discounts to get them to show up, and it's not a bad idea, okay? However, it depends on the discount that you're doing and what exactly it is that you're providing for the person. So I wouldn't give someone a discount because you don't want to discount your service. It makes you look less than yourself. And so you give them a bonus for showing up. So not a discount, but a bonus, right? You can give them a discount for signing. Like say, for example, you have a $10,000 package for whatever consulting, and they are tripping about doing it. And you can say, well, I can take $2 grand off. And, or have like a startup fee so it's like $2 grand up front and then it's $8 grand for the whole thing. And then if you can, maybe say, hey, let me call my manager really quick and see if we can actually, take off that $2 grand if you sign up today. That's a way to discount your service, but don't discount them to get them to show up. So if you want them to show up, give them a bonus, right? We'll create an offer together. We'll give you a free inspection. We'll audit your website and show you exactly what's wrong with it. We'll give you an SEO keyword list, like a keyword sheet with all the keywords that you have. So there's a reason to show up. Like people want to show up. Okay. Besides yourself, you're not that great. People don't really care about you. They just want money or wealth and health. And if you can provide that for them, then do that. But this is the first part of the video. This is just initial contact. These are the 9 things I have. I have 6 things before the sales call. So if you're interested in watching that, like I said, again, subscribe. And also, if you're a door-to-door salesman or you run a contracting company and you're tired of doing door-to-door, I completely understand. It sucks. I would like to help you run your marketing and grow your company so that way you never have to do door-to-door sales again. That's all I have to say. Hope you enjoyed the video. Stop scrolling on social media because it's bad for you.